So different reasons that we're all here and what motivates us. But we're going to start from here. So Gary has his own satellite office. This is one of the blessings we have at Keller, is that as an individual agent, when you hit a certain point, you can go within our service area that Marvin has and actually open a satellite office. So Gary's done that in Stouffville. So how long have you been open, Gary?
Our door's been open about a year, just over a year, in fact. And talk about opportunity, just talk about the opportunity that Keller Williams has. If you asked me even 3 years ago that I would have my own office anywhere, let alone in the building here, I would have been, really? Why? And just the opportunity that keeps coming out of Keller Williams and the opportunity that they enable us as individual agents to grow is unbelievable. And it's funny how one comment that I made to my wife, because we had made a decision to move from Newmarket, and I had a decent business in Newmarket in the surrounding area, and we decided to move back to Stouffville where we both grew up. So me thinking, well, I don't want to make a measly 25-minute drive to come up to Newmarket to go to the office, because many people make drives much longer than that, but no, I didn't want to, right? And I thought, well, I want my own office in Stouffville. And that one comment has turned into this and a team and everything. So it's just, be careful what you say, because it might come true.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, Gary Keller will tell us, and I heard him say this a few years ago, and then I thought about my own journey, and I've been licensed now for about 5.5 years. I had real estate experience prior to being an agent. However, he'll say from the big stage of like 15, 16,000 people, we want to hit a huge goal, like massive goal. We're only 5 years away from hitting it. Mm-hmm. And I look at my journey, and I got licensed, did a handful of deals the first year, and more the second year, and so on. And then within 5 years, and I think the same with you, Jen, pretty close, you know, we had our own offices. And not to say that's what you need to aspire to, but it's just amazing that what he says actually can come true. Just like I've seen it, I experienced it. So it's the opportunity here is outstanding. And jump at the opportunity when it's staring at you in the face, for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Absolutely.
Good.
So I work mainly out of, we have an office up in Georgina, so that's kind of our base for where we work out of, the same thing. So I've been at 4 years. I just came to my 4-year anniversary in February, and I've had the office open up there for 2 years, right? Big difference too with having an office, as these guys can attest to. When we don't have ice completely all over our pavement, we do get walk-in traffic. So we do get people just stopping in, coming to see what's available or coming to list property. So there's a real advantage to having a physical office when you've built up to that point, okay? So we're gonna go forward. I don't know how to move the video though. All right, so why listen to Gary and Jen? So Gary, your numbers so far for 2018?
Yeah, so we're just hitting 25 deals for this year. Our numbers aren't where we set our goals. However, in a market that's slowing down a little bit and then has momentum and slows down a bit, I feel that's pretty good. And is it good enough? Well, you know what? No. So that's why even I am attending this course. You know, sometimes they say the best course you'll ever take is the one you get to teach and instruct. And it's all about mindset and things like that. And that's why we're all here. And it's just having the opportunity to move forward and do the deals, because one deal leads to what? Is the snowball effect. And I see it happening every day. And if you look at Jen and Jen can talk about where she currently sits on the Toronto Real Estate Board, it's amazing. Look at that.
So if you look at, for Toronto Real Estate Board ranking for an incentive committee, so this means by transaction, I was sitting 99.84%. So 99.84% of people have not hit that ranking, okay? And then for volume, 0.28% of people have not achieved that ranking, okay? What I would say to you is, yes, the market is shifting, but it is all mindset, right? What I say to our team, which is the truth, is really at the end of the day, this is a normal market, okay? Meaning if you're a seller and you're selling here, you're also buying here when you go to buy property. If you were selling last year, you were selling here, but you were buying here. And usually that also meant you couldn't put in inspections, you had to wait financing, there was more risk. Now you can take your time, there's more choice. It is more of a buyer's market, so you have an opportunity as a buyer, which apparently Andrew Bolton has a lot. right? So it comes down to, I always say, I'm here to serve God. That's the way that I operate, okay? And within our team, we will always do well despite the market, okay? We will do well despite the market because we're truly serving every day. And I believe that, and that's the way that my business has run. So within 3 years, what was it? It would be my third year doing real estate. I hit 1,125,000 in GCI, okay? So that's literally that mindset of, I'm gonna make $1 million this year in commission, okay? It's all mindset. And it comes down to also your work ethic and your consistency of that work ethic, right? So we'll move forward.
All right.
Okay, Gary and I both went down a family reunion. All the top teams down at family reunion work off formulas, okay? The reality is this. There is a big, huge team that we actually sent our office manager down to shadow called the Loken Group down in Texas. They do 1,700 deals a year. 1,700. Think about that.
How many people?
30. There's 30 team members and there's 30 support staff. They each have a very specific job, right? So there's a formula to how you do this, okay? So what it comes down to is you need to door knock 25 doors a day, okay? So write this down. If you door knock 25 doors a day, you either cold call or meet 25 other people a day. This is 5 days a week. You do 8 open houses over the course of a month, converting 1 person for each open house, and you do not take your foot off the gas. You stay on the gas the whole week, doing exactly what they are saying. It will equate to 50 deals per year. So we can. So this is it right here. So 2 open houses a weekend. Well, I don't have any listings. Well, a lot of people do. So you should be reaching out to them. That's literally how I started. I said, I will take any open house. I reached out to agents, and I would go above and beyond with the open houses I held. I hired a guy in a bunny suit for Easter to stand out there with the sign pointing in, and I had Easter eggs and all kinds of stuff.
Your husband doesn't mind doing that.
That's the hard guy. He's very tall. So these are the things that you have to do. You've got to think outside the box, come up with creative things, okay? Door knock, 25 doors. And you can do that in a way that doesn't have to be, hey, do you want to sell your house, right? There's a ton of scripts. If you go to Keller Williams site, kw.com, and you go to their training section, they have a myriad of different scripts that you can use for door knocking, for cold calling, for all of this stuff, okay? So one way of doing it is taking around open house invites. You've got an open house booked, now take flyers, door knock the neighborhood, right? Even you see somebody put up a new listing from our office, doesn't have to be your listing. Go and door knock around that listing and say, hey, we, the proverbial we, have this new listing in your area, and we'd like to invite you to this open house we're having this weekend, right? Okay, call or meet 25 people a day in the following ways. So you can join social groups, you can join mummy groups, you can join Chamber of Commerce. Like there's a myriad of different things that you can do to get out and meet people, okay? Mojo Dialer. Anybody know what Mojo Dialer is? Raise your hand if you know what Mojo Dialer is. Okay, so it's an automated calling program, and this is something where it will literally dial numbers for you, and when someone picks up, it's all good. It's all good. So you're going to pick up calls, and you're going to talk to people. You're trying to establish rapport when you're doing the cold calling, right? Okay, so calling into the area and the database with events and invites. Does everyone have a database? Put up your hand if you have a database. Okay, you need a database. Want to talk about database, Gary?
A database can be the 10 closest people you know. It can be 10,000 people. And the one thing that my takeaway from family reunion this year was whatever the database you currently have is not big enough. And I thought I was touching them enough. I'm not touching them nearly enough. And during the time I was there, we got to sit and just have a conversation like this with one of the main coaches at Maps Coaching. And he just had about 15 people around him. It was so interesting. And he starts talking about our database. And he says to me, to us, the group that's there, how often do you touch them? Once a month, once a week, whenever you have a listing. And we're all, everyone's, once a week to once a month type thing, right? And he said to us, that's not enough. And he asked a simple question: who has ever bought anything from Amazon? And we all put up our hands. Or we've browsed Amazon. And how many emails do you get from Amazon almost a day from that very product that you looked at? Like almost every day. So if Amazon is this big billion-dollar company, shouldn't we follow that marketing strategy? And there will be people that will not want to listen to you. We don't want to talk to them anyways. We want to talk to the people that are going to engage with us, and they won't engage with us unless we're engaging with them. And that, to me, was worth that little 15-minute huddle of my $300 or $3,500 to go to family reviews just for that. Just to hear him say that, like, yes, I am not touching them enough. And how do we build databases? Is by doing some of these, especially the top one. That top one's such an easy way to build a database because people are coming into our open houses or we're hosting one for one of the other agents. What a great way to build a database because they've already built that rapport for them, for sure. And if I can touch on this too, Jen, sometimes when we go knocking doors, we're calling people, they don't always want to hear we have another listing. It's an important message, don't get me wrong. So some of the ways that we've kind of found that works for us is definitely the events. And Jen hosts a lot of events. I host, and many of you know, I host investment workshops, seminars in here. And for that one house out of every 10 that you knock on, maybe that's the message they want to hear. So sometimes it's okay to change it up a little bit and have a very specific event that you're inviting them out to, for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So first thing everyone should be doing when they're leaving, go home and do your database, right? So looking at who are the people that I used to work with, that I may still currently work with, friends, family, and you need to start compiling a list of all those people so that you start reaching out to them on a routine basis. We do things like, instead of always reaching out with, new listings or, whatever the latest thing is, we do things like send a lottery ticket, right? Hope you get lucky. Like send something in spring with a flower. You have to come up with creative, innovative ways. And always remember this: when you give first, you will receive. And it may not be from that person that you directly gave it to, but it always comes back to you. At the beginning, when I was door knocking down in Aurora here, we would get, just the chatty neighbor that's telling you all about the other neighbors and would point out who's going to move. So we always made a point of going back and gifting something to the person that told us and maintaining that relationship, and then going to the person where they say, don't tell them I told you, but they're going to move. We would send them a nice little note with a free gift card to Penny's or whatever it was, and say, a little birdie in the neighborhood told us you might be moving. We'd love to sit down and have a chat, right? No hard pressure, no hard sales. The entire business that I've built has been based on no pressure sales, the exact opposite, okay?
I hope there's two things in there that I'm writing down mentally. Is A, how cool it is to receive a free lottery ticket. And B, a little birdie told me you might be moving. That is gold. Write that one down. That's amazing. That's good.
Okay. So again, attending and creating community events, you can do anything. There's so many things, and it doesn't have to cost you money. You can do it with community sponsorship. Hey, I'm going to set up this. Would you be willing to sponsor it for $100? To get 10 different companies sponsoring you, it's $1,000, right? Okay, attending groups, networking events. This is a biggie. You're not in the real estate business. You're in the lead generation business. You don't have leads, you don't have sales. That's the way that it works, okay? So I'll go to the next page here. All right, Einstein said, your inner thoughts create your outer reality. Does everyone believe that? Put your hand up if you believe that. Okay. So if that's true, looking around at your life the way it is right now, are you happy with your life and are you happy with your business? Right? So if you believe you succeed, you will succeed. If you believe you won't, guess what? So based on how strong your belief system is, how much you can hold that in your head with, I got this, right? I'm a millionaire real estate agent. If you can hold that in your head, that will become true. Because you're always going to have the drunk monkey, which is what bold for Keller Williams is for, is helping sort of manage your drunk monkey. Okay? The drunk monkey is the one that sits there going, you'll never sell anything. Give up now. Right? And believe it or not, even at this level, we still have those moments of doubt. Even those huge producers of 1,700 deals are still having their moments of doubt. It's because they can work through it, overcome it, and keep going. Okay? So we'll go to the next one. There you go. All right. So what does everyone do here to keep your mindset positive?
Well, coming to seminars like this really helps because I don't spend a lot of time in the office. So it's really exciting and encouraging. I leave here feeling like $1 million. I'm going to implement this and do that.
Awesome. Anybody else? Yep.
Information. I learned a lot of that with the first time I took both. And then I've kind of really narrowed it down to like there's just one that I have that is ingrained in my mind and it never leaves. And I'm always, if I have that moment of doubt or I always go back to it and I instantly feel better.
Do you mind sharing it?
And I don't really want to share it.
Okay, that's okay.
So here's what I'm getting to that, Marco, is it's so meaningful to you that it just totally sets your day.
Changes that mind. Like if I'm down here, you know, something just put me off. Does it happen? How quickly can I get back up to being at that mindset where I was feeling good? Right, to happen throughout the day, right? Of course, it can be like first thing in the morning, or it could be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or it could be like you just had a really bad call. How do you flip the script and be like right back to being where you want to be, right? So I can just be, you know, I'll just say my affirmation 5 or 10 times. Just be the kind of figure that I know that it's there, and then boom, I'm right back to where I need to be.
That's
right. We'll get it out of
rapport later. It'll be fine.
We got to build a rapport first.
That's right.
I actually had from that, and I kind of want to mention it.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. So when you join Keller Williams, like they really help you figure out your why. Like that's really big, figuring out why you do anything. Now, I was always under the impression that the why had to be something positive, or like that's the way I was trying to frame it. Like we're sharing it with everyone. Like it's got to be great. And my why is actually something I haven't shared either, and that's why I had an aha moment because I haven't shared it, it's so strong, and it's okay to not share your why.
Agreed.
So that's my aha moment. Because, and in terms of mindset, working out is big for me to help you guys writing down what you're grateful for and your goals every day.
Yeah. I think the gratitude part is a big portion of it. Just being grateful for what you already have. You know, the fact you've got 2 feet on the ground, you're healthy, you're here, you know, every day. It is a gift.
The other thing that I do is, and we have, he does it every day, is he journals every day.
Yeah.
This is part of his criteria, like when he comes in, that's like his first thing that he has to do. And so, and we talk about, you know, it's private, so whatever he writes in there is his.
Yeah.
You know, we can talk about what's going on in his day. Like right now, this week, he's going to be focusing on what he's grateful for, but he's also going to be focusing on what he's happy that he loves about himself, right? Because a lot of the times we talk about other people and stuff, but we forget about the most important person, which is ourselves, right? If we love ourselves properly as a person, like, right? Then at the end of the day, you'll be able to transcend that and give that to other people as well, right? So the journaling I found to be very positive, but that's always something that for myself, like I'll go back, say 3 months from now, right? And be like, oh, what was going on 3 months ago? You can be like, wow, look at what just happened. That's incredible, right? And so that's another tool that you can use to motivate yourself to keep going,
Yeah, and I think one thing you have to be careful of too is who are you surrounding yourself with, right? So, you know, taking a really good close look at who are your 5 closest people, and even go back through the text messages they sent you recently. I've had my own personal experience of a very dear friend of mine for almost 20 years. And I really had that reflection that, you know, I love her. However, she's calling me every day with new crisis. The players change, but the crisis is the same. And I got to a point, I said to her, I can't have this anymore. I need to protect my energy. And I'm finding after the phone calls, I'm getting dragged down. So if you want to call me and talk about positive things, I'm in. You have a legitimate crisis, something happens, I'm there. But I'm not prepared to have this conversation anymore that repeats. And she ended up walking away, right? But that is sometimes what has to happen, because you have to protect your energy, even just to be happy and joyful in life. And remember, as much as you're gratitude journaling and saying, I'm so thankful for this, and it's something in the future that you would like now, right? You have to resonate at that energy. You've got to vibrate there to actually attract it, which means if you're walking around depressed and sad and dragging and let everybody drag you down, it doesn't matter what affirmations you're making, you will attract where you're resonating. You want to see someone pull negative clients in, you have to take that really good look inside. Why am I pulling negative clients? Guess what? You're pulling them in because it's what you've created. 95% of our clientele that we work with, and everybody can attest to this who works with us, they're awesome. We get very, very few difficult clients or shady clients. Vast majority are loyal, they're spiritual, they're lovely, they're kind, they're generous. I've got the phone calls after and they say, did you take enough commission? We're worried about you, right? So this is what you believe, the people that you believe you are going to run into, you are going to run into. So if you make a concerted effort just to change how you go forward and what you're thinking and how high you're keeping your energy, you will change your life. But it's really important.
Absolutely.
So,
can I jump in there, Jen?
Yeah.
That sphere of 5 friends, and we've all heard that before. And one of my closest friends, we actually separated. And I didn't realize it at the time, but my business was stuck here. And it was a decent income, you know, as a realtor. It was actually decent. However, when you're in those relationships, sometimes you don't realize how negative they are until you're outside of them. And then finally, we went our separate ways, and I still miss them till, you know, I still miss them today. Not to say this is the sole and absolute reason, but the very next year, my business more than doubled. More than doubled, because I didn't have that relationship anymore. And it drags you down. And sometimes, you know, people will ask, and Mark and you and I talk about this, and I know Jen has coaching, and why are people in coaching? And coaches are there to point out the blind spots. And I didn't know that was a blind spot at the time, but now looking back, oh my gosh. And to take a decent business then to more than double it now, I'm like, yeah, now I see the benefit of surrounding myself, you know, with like-minded people, surrounding myself with people with goals and aspirations much bigger than mine. Because if I'm the biggest player or the biggest fish in the pond, then that's the extent that I'm going to grow to, right? I know Jen, and she wants to go much bigger than that, right?
Yeah.
So it's who we surround ourselves with, for sure.
It's fun too, like going down a family reunion. I went down for the second year. You're getting against like 17,000 Keller Williams agents. So I'm number 2 in Canada last year, right? I rock, right? I get down there. I am like the smallest fish in a very large pond. So it really is something you look at and you go, man, there's people doing $1 billion in sales. Not $1 million,
Yeah.
$1 billion. Think about that, right? So there's so much you can achieve in your lifetime, and we are the only people that are putting the limitations on ourselves. It's us personally. So again, attending training, honing your skills with like-minded individuals. But as Gary says, even for us, we're constantly looking to mingle and associate with people that are bigger fish, right? So We're looking for coaches that have achieved more, right? We'll pay to spend time with them to help us how to work on, all right, I'm at this level, how do I move to the next level? What blocks are there that I can't see that I need to work on, right? Constant work in progress. Go and do it. Everyone sits in trainings and we see so much of it. Sit in trainings, more trainings, and you never actually do anything, right? Do it. Scared, tired, cranky. Make a lead generation goal every day for yourself and discipline yourself to do it. No excuses. Your body will come up with all kinds of things to help you quit. You'll get a sick stomach, you'll have a headache, things will happen, something happens with your kids. There's always stuff that will block you, right? But if you can work through that, those initial blocks, the universe will open up. You're testing you, you're testing yourself, okay? And this big one, your big why. Does everyone know their big why? Why are you doing this? Anybody not know their big why? How about that? Put up your hand if you don't know why you're doing this. Okay, that's good. Everybody is focused.
Good.
Great. So moving on.
You know, I wrote this down earlier, and I think this is a good spot to pull this into. Kind of thinking there is this the unstoppable mindset. So obviously, you know, Jen said we're not in the business as realtors, we're actually in the business of lead gen. So let's hear what some of your lead gen is, or what your go-to is. Some people don't knock, some people pick up the phone, it's sphere of influence. So what are some of the things that you guys are using?
Martin, go around.
What's your favorite?
Yeah.
Open house.
Open houses.
Honey, yeah, in front of people.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's going to be mine. So I've been on that lead for the last year. So currently I'm not doing lead gen right now, except for my database, which actually I'm working with 2 clients right now.
Good.
However, open houses was my next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. One thing I just want to point out, it's not just the open house itself. So for me, the open house starts hours way before the actual open house. When I'm putting out signs, I'm always talking to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm door knocking before the open house, whatever, it's always before and after. So it's not just that 2-hour window.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that 5 or 6 hour window. It's constantly time blocked with prospecting.
Well, and I think Jen is the same on this as well. Is open houses for our team starts Tuesday or Wednesday for a Saturday, Sunday open house, because that's when you get to go do the invites and postcards and pick up the phone and all that kind of stuff. For sure, it's an event.
We have our list done Mondays. So these guys know this. We already posted which open houses we're running. So there's 15 running. Everybody knows where they are at what day of the weekend for what. Then there's postcards that have them all on. So now they each get a certain number of postcards. They can literally go to those houses around and invite them. There's social media that happens.
Yeah.
There's Kijiji ads. So there's all of these things that happen to help drag traffic in, right? Some of those will be newspaper ads as well. So
What else we have out there?
Events, yeah. I do a Realty Day once a month.
Yeah.
So then I tie that into open house and stuff. So it's just a way to create the hype for what's going on, but for the brand and for yourself and for the business, right?
And that's at a bank, right? One of the local banks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Jen, Jen. Michelle, you do it at your fitness center, right?
Yeah, I have been.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a local hours fitness, talking to the manager about how I want to help inform people about real estate, but also in exchange, I'll hand out your 1 week classes. But with Myers, there's installation there.
Yeah.
To add on to that.
For sure.
The things that I like to do, one is just networking in general. At the gym, at the grocery store, getting my nails done, like things that I like to do. Anyway, and then also I'm really trying to do a lot of prospecting off of social media through video. So like just making authentic videos about random stuff, and then people will message me and thank me for putting out a video and then asking how real estate is, and it's like a direct lead.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And an extension to what Jen, right? Michelle. So what Michelle was saying, I've been in the gym industry for a very long time as well, and very close to management as well as upper management. So if you guys are ever looking to set up a booth at any one of our locations, whether in Market, Aurora, Vaughan, Markham, I can set that up for you either once a month or twice a month. And
Yeah, that's
the
great.
lead generation there, we're getting about 50 if you decide to set up a booth from 9 to 11 a.m. or 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., you're going to get a lot of traffic. And having your name out there is probably one of the best things.
Exactly. That's right.
I used to work at one of the locations in the area. So Aurora. LA Fitness Aurora.
Oh, yeah, I didn't,
Yes.
So this is an event right now, like
Yeah,
a networking event, right? Like it's all part of it, of making those connections, you know?
Yeah.
And we do this as we know it needs to be done every day, right? And you know, you've heard Gary Keller talk or others talk in the past about the one thing do we need to do every day so our business is going to grow? And 9 times out of 10, it comes back to lead gen or prospecting. So it's a matter of what is our mindset, or what is our unstoppable mindset around that? And this is from Mike Ferry, so this is not mine. So it's from Mike Ferry, who put this together, and I thought it was nice and quick and really easy to understand. It really, before we go door knocking, or before we pick up the phone, or before we enter a networking group, it's all about having that mindset of making sure we're in that right mind space, right? Because we go into it, pick up the phone, and I know I'm just going to get a no. So where's my motivation, or where's my energy level? It's down. It's almost non-existent. So the first thing that we do, especially on the phones, is have people stand up. And so even when we're doing scripts, have you ever done scripts before in Ignite or in Bold or wherever it happens to be? The best way to do a script is actually stand up and do it, because your whole energy changes. So if you're a phone caller, stand up. If you're a door knocker, obviously you're standing up. I hope. However, so what they had like little 5 points here of how we can change our energy level and how do we enter into our prospecting time or our lead gen time with the right mindset. And the first thing was that he said, again, that's really good. He goes, we always call it prospecting or lead generating. And sometimes it has a negative connotation to it. So how do we change it? You know, change the name of it. So something that's so powerful to you that you know you're going to knock it out of the park. So is that your wealth generating time? Is it your trip to Hawaii time? Whatever it is, like associate it with something, right? And it's such a neat little twist on it. I can do that. That's something I can do. It's not costing me anything. In fact, it may be costing me a lot because I just consider it prospecting. Like prospecting is like that old dirty man panning for gold or something like that, right? But if I change it to wealth generating, or my trip to Hawaii, or my kid's new puppy or something like that, we just got a new puppy, that's why I said that. Something like that. Of course, body in motion is what is our energy. I kind of touched on that, is meaning, am I standing up? Am I energetic? There's another instruction, what am I trying to say? Another workshop that I do, and it's all about, I want to negotiate during the best time of day where I'm most energetic. So they call it your power time. And if you wanted me to go negotiate at 8 o'clock in the morning, I probably won't get anything done. But if you want me to negotiate at 8 p.m. at night, I'm going to get a lot done, because that's when I'm most powerful. And a lot of people will say you prospect or you lead gen or you won't generate in the morning. That's fine, do it, because whatever you do, you got to have it as a pattern. So for me, my power time, or for your power time, figure out what time of day that is. And if it has to be the morning, make it the morning and own it, right? And the other is, it's just like mantra. It's a mantra, or the affirmation. So like what Mark was saying earlier, when he's feeling down in the dumps, he's got this little thing that he says in his mind and changes his outlook on it, right? And for me, it might be something about, my kids or my wife. My family's really important to me. Whatever's important to you, just think about that, and it could be as something as simple as, I'm a great phone caller, people want to listen to me, they want to talk to me, and I'm going to get a yes. Imagine you said that every time you picked up the phone, as opposed to, here's another no, you start dialing or you start door knocking. We all talk about mindset, but it really is just up here, right? It really is. For me, I love music. Some people can't work with music while you're working. I feel I can, some can't. However, music is very emotional, right? That's why we tend to love music. And maybe it's a song that pumps you up and you play it for 5 minutes before you go do your prospecting time. Or maybe it's a video, a really emotional video that you enjoy watching. It's going to change your mindset for sure. Perfect game versus drama. So that to me is, pick up the phone, I asked for a lead, or I asked if they were interested in buying, selling, investing in real estate this year, and I got a no. I could quickly go to the drama side. That's another no. That's another no. Or I could say, perfect. I got another no. Perfect. They don't want to sell this year. Perfect. They already have an agent. But it's just that whole way of looking at stuff, right? Because what will happen is, let's say all of a sudden you get a yes, but you're down here in the dumps. You're not ready for it. You got to match that energy on the other side of the phone, and you won't be able to match it if you're already down. So if you can always look at things, I've always been told I look at things with the glass half full, and for me it is. And maybe for others it's more difficult to do that. But I got to tell you, that's where a lot of successful agents see the difference. Every no is just getting them closer to that next yes, right? Makes sense? Easy to remember? I thought it was really easy to remember, and my favorite one was this. If you don't like the idea of prospecting or lead gen every morning, just change it. Change the name of it. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jen, I'm going to jump in there.
No, and I love that one. I think, even for me, I look at it more as I'm making friends. Every single one of our clients, we become friends with, right? We'll go have dinner with them eventually or whatever it is. So they're our friends. So if you look at it like, I'm picking up the phone to make a new friend. Yeah. And you talk to them like they're your friend and you're authentic from your core, they feel it. It's a big difference. Not, I'm calling to sell them something, right? So one thing I'd like to mention, we do have a cold caller in the office. So I put it out to the universe. This was last year after family reunion. I said, I need a cold caller. So I just put it out to the universe and forgot about it, right? I get a call like a month later. Lady who lives locally, awesome agent, but wants to stay home with her kids, right? She calls me and says, I like cold calling. I like it. And I only want to do like 3 mornings a week. Would you be cool if I came in and just did 3 mornings a week for you? Yeah, right? Big check, yes. And what's cool is she does 3 mornings a week, guys. She's on the phone like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and most days she's booking me at least 1 appointment, right? What does that tell you? If you get on the phone and you do it consistently, you could have 5 appointments a week, right? That's just from cold calling for 2 hours. You can do it at home when you're with your kids. You can take an hour and do it. There's absolutely no reason that anyone here can't lead generate. There's always a way that you can lead generate. Okay?
That's good. And I got to roll on to that, Jen.
Yeah.
I think, in my experience, a lot of people set the wrong goal when they do door knocking or cold calling. They'll say, well, I'm going to make 100 contacts. To me, that's the wrong goal, because they hit 100 contacts, but they didn't do the most important thing, and that's what Jen needs, is an appointment.
Yeah, you're establishing rapport.
Yeah, so if you change that mindset a little bit, I'm going to pick up and I'm going to get Jen an appointment, or I'm going to get myself an appointment, as opposed to, that 56, I only have 40 some odd appointments to go. That's it, right? Dial for that appointment as opposed to the contact. It's a mindset thing, I know. That's what we're here for today, and I think it just helps get that appointment so much faster, because all of a sudden your energy, we talked about it, your energy changes, and so does the conversation.
Yeah. And even of the 50 listings we're carrying right now, 2 of them are because of the cold caller, right? So, and she'd only kind of started and become more serious coming into the fall. So anyone can do this. Anyone can do this. So it's also providing the highest level of service. It's not being the realtor that signs the listing, puts the sign on the lawn, and then doesn't come back, right? Unless there's an offer. So value-added service, what can you do for them? Can you go in, all right, so you're not going to necessarily, the newer agent, pay for someone to do this stuff. Go in. I used to steam clean carpet once I got a listing. Okay, I'd spend hours steam cleaning carpet. Someone had a problem, I had a solution, right? Or either a buyer or a seller. There's always a solution, and I would find the solution. I'd never go back to my client with a problem. I would say, we have a situation, and here's the solution to the situation that I'm going to handle, right? Be the solution. Be positive. That's what people want. Solutions, not problems. Providing a special touch. Again, how can you help them? They're elderly. go in and pack their stuff, right? Be mindful of the fact that someone who's a senior citizen generally doesn't like to have their stuff moved around too much. They're worried about tripping over things, they're worried about slipping, they're worried about forgetting where they put something. So it's doing things within the realm of where they're comfortable. Everybody know what NLP is? Hand up if you know what NLP is. Okay, neuro-linguistics programming, okay? Whole other course. But you can actually go on YouTube and research it. Okay, what it comes down to is learning to mirror body language of someone else to establish quick rapport, right? And establish quick trust. That's another way that you're actually going to do better with your business. But it's paying attention to someone's body language. You're talking with someone elderly and you're saying, we're going to put all the stuff away. We're going to come in here with the stager, and they're going like this and sitting back. What does this mean? What am I doing right now? Right. Right. They're shutting down. So I want to talk to them and see them come forward and bring their arms down. I haven't won, you know, and gotten to them to that place of comfort and trusting me until their arms come down, right? You have to learn to be a people reader. It's called NLP. So actually, Ellen in our office is a trained NLP practitioner. She's going to be doing more training for us. So get their homes cleaned. Clean it for them prior, you know, to putting it on the market if they have trouble. Clean it yourself. If you don't have business, by actually getting in there and doing things for them, they will refer you to other people because they see you work twice as hard as the other agents that just slapped the sign up and walked away, right? Okay, next. Service your listings, not just the sign. So again, establish rapport with your seller. Everybody know how to do that? I hope so. Provide feedback after your showing daily. As soon as you finish showing, seller wants feedback. So even just send them a quick message. Text the agent how to go. Send the information back. A weekly phone call, right? You don't want to disappear. You want to keep the contact. It's too easy because you get busy to slip into second week no contact, third week no contact, right? Hosting open houses. Great way to lead generate. Be present for signing documents. It's not just sending in someone else, right? You get the listing, you go on holiday. The seller doesn't like you too much. Advertising and boosting. So going on to Facebook and Instagram, take whatever listings you can get your hands on, right? Get consent. Within a Keller Williams brokerage, you can basically take any of our listings, but it's still nice to have someone make contact and say, hey, do you mind if I advertise that?
Because what does that do? Sorry, Jen.
Yeah.
If that establishes rapport with that other agent, and there might be something down the road where that agent is looking for a great favor, and they'll come to you because you created that rapport for them, for sure.
Yep. And then coming up with creative ways to sell their property faster. So we had one just recently. We put a really old house on the river up for sale. We got into old costumes from the 1920s and had a high tea and invited a whole bunch of people. We had 28 people show up on a crappy day, right? So it's just doing those extra special things, right? Do something fun. Have a face painter. Just don't put them in the house. Put them outside with the kids.
Easy cleanup.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. This should be fairly straightforward. How does 50 deals a year change your life? Big, right? Okay, go to the next one. This is a biggie. Everybody has 100 contacts. You do. If you go through your phone, go on to social media, look, you have 100 contacts. Of 100 contacts, 25% of those will refer you right away, always. You don't even need to prove it to them. They'll just refer you. 25% will refer you once you convince them you're competent. 25% will refer you that can be swayed away from you. And 25% will never refer you no matter what you do. Who should you concentrate on? But your concentration still, right. So you go through sending stuff out to everybody, But once you figure out who your top referral people are, take care of them. That's what we do. I know who my top referral people are, so I go and have dinner with them. We go out and have wine, right? I drop by and say hi. I send them things. This is what you have to do. And it is. We're always thanking them for what they do. We send us a referral, we send them a card right away. Thank you, thank you. We send them something else on closing. Thank you so much. So, appreciate people. So, this is an example of events, and I know Gary can throw in his 2 cents, but we do free coffee events. So we'll pay like $700, $750 if it's a bigger venue, maybe $250 on a smaller venue. So actually, Shauna went up and did one last week in Innisfil. So it's, here you go, you get a postcard with an invite to one of our open houses, flip it over, pay it forward, do something nice for someone else. So we paid for their coffee or breakfast or whatever, okay? And so for a regular Timmy's morning, that'd be about $750. Rather than spending $750 on postcards that I mail out to the community, because I tried that last year, I find paying money to give something to someone without asking for anything in return works 10 times better. So routine mail-ins with free items, lottery tickets, flower seeds, vegetable seeds, whatever you can think of. Come up with some interesting things. KW Red Car Day wash in May, right? Everyone's going to be out there washing cars. Let all your database know you're going to be there, right? Invite them out. Sponsoring movie nights. There's a lot of agents that do this, right? They have a movie night and they have their database invited out to come see a movie for free. Parades. Show up. Be in the parade. Hand stuff out to kids. We actually underestimated last year for the Georgina parade and ran out of stuff on the first street. So what have we learned? Kids like candy floss. Kids like things that light up. So free turkey giveaways and pies with the bonus for referrals. So one of the teams down in the States, really cool lady, she does 500 deals a year in a population of 15,000 people. Think about that. 15,000 people, 500 deals a year. One of the cool things she does is she does pies, and she said, if you bring us a referral by the time you pick up your pie, we'll throw in a can of whipped cream. You know how many cans of whipped cream she buys? A lot. A lot. Just a silly thing, but people enjoy the sense of humor and the fun with it. Any?
Well, a lot of the, yeah, so a lot of the things, you know, Jen runs a big business, so she has capabilities to do big events. However, when everyone's at different levels, right? So tack on to something that you're gonna own, you're gonna enjoy doing it, because you don't want to pick something that you're not gonna enjoy doing, right? So do something that is enjoyable for you. So obviously, you know, Michelle likes going to the gym. That's one of her passions. So that's why she's prospecting at the gym, for instance. You know, for me, I love playing soccer. So I know it's terrible. Every Wednesday I have to go play soccer, then I have to go to the bar afterwards. However, you know what happened this week? One of the guys who I hadn't talked to since last fall, because the soccer season is not obviously over the winter, calls me up, sees one of my listings. And one of his best friends is a realtor, who we also go to the bar with. But he calls me, because I'm creating that rapport. So it doesn't always have to be events or things like that, but just something that you're creating rapport and you're creating that connection with, right? We're going to go see that property tonight, you know, and it just really, you got to latch on to something, enjoy it, and if it's a passion of yours, obviously, like for me, soccer, slide in a real estate conversation every now and then.
Kelly, you had a question?
I just want to comment. I use my kids when they're first 10.
Yeah.
And like before I joined Jennifer's team, I was very small. Like I based most of my business on referrals of friends and family. So lead generation is something that I'm trying to expand on and learn. But in the meantime, when I was doing small things in my community, I would use my kids and we would go around and do freebies on a hot summer day and just offer them out to the neighborhood. I did pumpkins at Thanksgiving time. I just took a wagon with the kids and like dropped off little baby pumpkins and everybody's doing stuff with my business cards. Like little things like that. We did Canada Flag one time for, 1st of July, and just little things like that really work, but I use my kids.
Yeah, my husband this year will be set out for Halloween trick or treating. He's turning 4, so he's very young. It's like our first year of getting out there with him. But my husband said, you should have really thought ahead better about this. We're knocking on every single door in our neighborhood. You've got nothing to do. So it's like, yeah.
It's just about having fun with it. It really is.
Yeah.
The freezy thing is awesome. We've done the Canada flag thing too, with, you know, we on our Canada flags, they were just the little ones, and we put a little business card, we co-branded with a local insurance company, a home insurance company in Stouffville, and we said nothing. So on July 1st, everyone woke up to Canada flags in the front lawn, and you should have seen Facebook just light up. Whoever did this, thank you, thank you, thank you. And sometimes you can't buy advertising like that. And there was many other teams in town that did big booths and everything at our Strawberry Festival. Didn't get the same sort of oomph that we got, right? And it's just a matter of doing things a little bit different and having fun with it, for sure.
Even inviting all your neighbors over. Like we had a neighborhood party. So this is an area that I love. I live there. I love it. I love all the neighbors. So we had a party, catered it, band, 150 neighbors. So when those 150 neighbors show up to our property, they're not calling other realtors to list their property, right? Those are things we do on a regular basis for them. So it's like a bonding neighborhood thing that goes on, right? So even thinking about your own neighborhood, you know, even just inviting your street. Hey guys, you know what? We don't all know each other. Why don't you all come over on Sunday, you know, bring your own booze, come by, we'll have some snacks, let's all chat, get to know each other, figure out who the kids are, make an email list, right? You don't have to hard sell being a realtor. They'll figure out your realtor. Right? Maybe we use cards.
Well, the other one that's, I think, rumor has it, we're coming in the spring, right?
Yeah.
And what does everyone do in the springtime? On Saturday mornings?
Clean
garage sales, clean up, like all that kind of stuff. So Steve, one of our agents, he helps organize a local garage sale on a couple of streets, and it took him a lot of work, but it's an easy event to do.
Yeah.
Right? It's door knocking for a few months and just reminding people, but it's an easy thing to do. If you can own, you don't have to own your entire town, but own a few streets. That's the other thing that just came to mind, that for those door knockers or for the people that enjoy postcards and things like that, it's been my experience, when we did the shotgun approach, but if I could focus on 200 homes all year, and those same 200 homes are going to see my face at least once a week, I'll get way more business out of that than I would out of a shotgun approach. Mm-hmm. Just focus on 4 or 5 streets in your neighborhood and just kill it there. Just kill it there for sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You hand out postcards, and then they don't see those postcards that they for every year. Like,
who are you?
They have to be in the face. Yeah. And I was discouraged at first because as a new agent, you don't have a lot of money to do marketing. You think, oh, I need all this money to get postcards and do all these free things. But if you're creative, you can do it for a lot less money.
Yeah, some of our, like, we do postcards and all that kind of stuff, but some of it, we just do a little flyer on this cheap paper. It's the same message, right? Especially if you get to talk to them, and it gets that much further for sure. Yeah.
It's a close contact sport.
Yeah.
Making friends.
Yeah, making friends.
For sure.
If you made $5,000 a deal, it should be low. Let's say that's after taxes. That's $250,000 a year with 50 deals. So we're saying this is the formula. Do your 25 doors, call 25 people, or make contact with 25 other people during the day. Do it 5 days a week. Do 2 open houses on the weekend. Don't take your foot off the gas, right? It's $250,000 in your pocket. Average commission for sort of our area, you know, down Newmarket area, you're around 12,000, right? That was our average, I think.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So if you figure paying taxes, paying your expenses, think 5, just for give or take, $250,000. What can you do with $250,000, right? It's big, and it's simple. It really is simple. And the more business you do, the more business you attract. It's like a magnet.
Is there another slide?
I think, yeah, we might have to go, yeah. Okay. So anybody else have any way that you lead generate that's different than what we've discussed today or what's up on the board? Yeah. So what would your experience be with Facebook and Instagram, for instance?
It's an amazing platform to establish your credibility. But that's where it stops. You still have to get media to somebody, right? But an outstanding platform to establish your credibility from, anything from market news to these are the flowers you should plant in the spring. And it doesn't have to be all real estate related. I think, that's been said a couple of times here, engage that community. and Gary Stendock and Kirby Chan do great, and Adrian, Jennifer's brother, they do great little workshops on how to use social media. It's one of our most powerful advertising tools on my team, and that's where 90% of our marketing goes to. Mm-hmm. However, if we didn't follow up, we've got just a great marketing tool.
Yeah. And I think if you look at, most people go to the internet to look first.
Yep.
Even a lot of older people, that's where they go first. So even our buyer, conditionally sold, you could bump their offer, by the way, with the conditional on the sale of the buyer's property. But we had over, I think Deanna did an ad, 7,500 views, okay? This is just organic, no boost. And the buyer ended up coming, so they had an agent, but they ended up seeing that ad online and found the house through that method. So it's about taking whatever properties you can get your hands on and advertising the crap out of them, right? But do it from your business page and make sure that when it comes to your personal stuff, you're only posting like one business, ad a day and one personal. You've got to be careful not to overload people with all your real estate stuff or they'll just block you. I know I will, right? So it has to be more authentic and engaging about what's actually going on in your life. And then from your business page, doing boosted posts, so it actually goes to hit the people it's meant to, because you can target where you're trying to, draw those people from, what income bracket, blah, 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 right? So you're better off doing paid ads for all of those, and then maybe once a day something special about real estate. Maybe provide some information, or put up, this is the cheapest property for sale right now in Newmarket. If you can get consent to post that one from that agent in writing through email, then market the crap out of it. This is your cheapest house you can purchase right now in Aurora. That's how I started using the internet. I had people come out and look at a farm property because I said, this is the cheapest hobby farm you can buy right now in Georgina. This is 4 years ago. I had 2 showings from that. So you have to come up with creative ways to market, right? Don't just follow what everyone else is doing. Really put it out there and say, what unique way can I set myself apart?
The other thing is for the lead generate, focus on the other agents in the brokerage. I mean, this year alone, I've done 4 deals with other agents just because of building the relationship at the monthly team meeting. I mean, I did 2 deals with one agent right now just because of family reunion, right? So you build the relationship with your coworkers, and you would be surprised at what will come from that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. In fact, something we're doing next week in Stouffville is getting together with some of the other agents at other offices and inviting them to come to my office and say, hey, let's just help each other sell each other's properties.
So maybe you're the specialist in Stouffville, right? And I have a contact that wants to move to Stouffville. Why not have the best of both worlds, market that?
Yeah.
And now they have more agents working for them. It's a win-win, right? And then from that, you have spin-off business, right?
Yep.
Something that to me, that's how I kind of look at it.
A lot of, and it's so true, Marco. And a lot of you have, I'm very fortunate to teach Ignite and Win the Seller. And in Win the Seller, we focus on getting listings and the listing presentation. But why do we want listings? And it's very evident in Jen's business is obviously listings create, leads, listings, and the biggest piece of it is leverage. And when you have the listings, especially the listings that Jen has, look at all that leverage she now has, where she can use that. And even us as other agents using some of her listings. And, I tell this story, and it just happened again last week where, most of my business, although we do a lot of marketing, most of my business comes from my sphere of influence. And I got a phone call back in January to list a property. To get it listed, was able to bring in a couple offers, we get it sold. And then earlier we talked about open houses. You should be able to generate, did you say 1 or 2 leads, or at least 2 leads?
It's one, the statistic is for every open house, 1 lead that will actually transfer into new business.
Yeah, perfect. So we created 2 buyer leads out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is awesome. We sold one of those leads houses last night in Brooklyn for one of the largest numbers that Brooklyn has seen in this neighborhood, and we didn't even hit the MLS. We have all these amazing photos and everything like that. So guess what's coming this week? Learn how we sold this house for 1.2 and change in Brooklyn, one of the highest ever, and we didn't even hit the MLS.
Mm-hmm.
How good is that for leverage?
Yeah.
Right? And that's why you want listings. That is why we want listings for sure, so we can leverage that out.
Yep.
And we can't get that if I couldn't have got that if I didn't have my sphere of influence, and if I didn't take that other listing, because that buyer came from that listing, and we'll go buy him something in Stowe, and it's just that snowball effect. Your 1 listing shouldn't stop. Just because you haven't sold, that should generate your business for years, really.
Absolutely.
Okay. We good?
Yep, what's next? I don't remember. Okay, so we can't play this for you because we're not hooked up to the internet. If you write it down, have a look at this. Okay, it's just basically a 9-minute, I think it's 9 minutes long, inspirational video by Will Smith. It essentially comes down to he works his butt off. Okay, that's why he is where he is today. Some people say it's talent. He works harder than everybody else. He's up earlier, he works longer hours, he just works harder. And that's the difference between, if you look at any group of agents, right, the same in any business. You've got 100% of the people here, 20% of the people do 80% of the business. So do you want to be the 20% or do you want to be the 80%, right? It's a choice. It is just a choice. It comes down to just have fun and get out there every single day and turn it into a journey of just meeting people and servicing them at the highest possible level. Take the real estate part out of it. You're helping transition them into their dreams, right? Sometimes you're selling estate properties for people of the past, but you're helping heal the family as you do that, right? So it's going to that higher purpose place. It's not, if you look at real estate as just transactional, you're missing all the juicy meat of it. We're presenting an offer earlier on a big property, and our seller, an older man, he started getting very emotional, right? He starts tearing up, and he's a tough guy. This is hard for him. And those are those moments where we can make it easier for him, and we can give him a hug, and we can help him heal, and we can help him move forward, right? Or I can look at him as simply a money transaction where that's all he is to me. So it's a choice. So who's going to go out now and kick some serious ass?
Yeah.
Like seriously. All it is mindset.
Yeah, for sure. I have some scripts here that I printed out that I use, and one specifically for my center of influence. Certainly, you guys can take them, but before I hand them out and be beneficial for both Jen and I and for the rest of the group, there's just some ahas that we got through the presentation today. Yeah, Michelle.
I actually have a question. This could be a whole other seminar.
Good.
And I don't know if this helps relate to anyone else in this industry, but so prospecting, I'm gold. I have no issue. I've actually stopped myself because I'm having trouble with follow-up and being a single agent and just maintaining everything I've already done this last year. So now, I guess if you have any comments towards systems you use or like how to make this process, I want to continue prospecting, but I literally can't. Like my mentality right now is that I need to focus on follow-up. And I go to focus on follow-up, but I'm like, should I go by the prop?
Give systems set up though with your database and a system that contacts you to say, did you contact this person today or that person? Like if you, okay, Gary sort of,
do you recommend?
so, all right. We're using Top Producer until the point Keller is finished their sort of improving their own database system. Okay, so Top Producer, what it does, we put it all in, then every day it pings me with, did you reach out to this person in the database? You haven't talked to them. Call this person, call this person. It gives me, right? And then we can also put in follow-up. So I can put them in to follow up and it will message me to actually make that call, right? You almost need a system, but you're at that point. Do you have a office admin now?
Well, no. That's
okay.
The thing.
How many deals last year?
Well, like I just did it under a year, and like it's more in the last like 3-4 months. Like I had 5 listings, and then everything snowballed.
It does.
You guys are recommended, like
yeah.
It does, but like, and I'm almost like kidding myself because I know that I want to continue it, but like I'm at the point where like I don't know how because
you need
part time.
Yeah.
Even like 4 or 5 hours a day. That's what I started with.
Yeah.
I show them then like
office.
Here's what. Sorry. Yeah. Here's what I would say around that is that's where you want to get to.
Yeah.
Is to build and hire an admin. Now, not everyone does, but for you, Michelle, I think that would be a good evolution of your business. However, before Jen got to the size that she's at, and before I was able to have the business that I have, the one thing that, sitting down with Marvin across the street, he would say, well, Garrett, how are you time blocking everything? Mm-hmm. And it's when I start to lose grasp of my business is I know I'm not sticking to my actual time blocking. And I would just simply, and sounds simply to say, it's very easy to say, it's hard to do. Yeah. And for some, and I meant to print it off, our time blocking sheet. So really my week at the beginning is lead gen in the morning, even though that's not my strongest suit, but I'm making it a habit. So lead gen in the morning, you have to schedule in lunch or you'll never take it. And then the afternoon is appointments and follow-up. If you put an hour in for follow-up, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. So start there.
I know that feeling now.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's into over one. I hit 500,000 before I hired an admin. Okay, it was a mistake. Because what starts to happen is you can grow. I already know, have watched you are going to hit the top. So it's prudent for you to actually get to that point now of looking at, I think what Mark is suggesting with definitely hiring someone for a couple hours, even 3 hours a day, and doing what Gary's saying by, starting to time block, so you are doing that follow-up, but having an admin who can literally step in and do all of your paperwork takes the pressure off you, and now you can do what you do best, right? So you have to just do what you do best and give all the other jobs to other people, right? And you'll grow as a result of that. You'll kill it. You'll go to the top. That's where you're headed. It's your trajectory. I can see it. So be careful about not being behind the 8 ball with hiring too early. As someone who made the mistake, and I was literally just running like a crazy person, right? I've missed a ton of business I could have been doing on top of it because I wasn't organized with office admin until the end of that year.
Right. You guys can chat with you after how you did that.
Yeah, sure. Just give me a call. Yeah.
It's a good question, though. Solid
Great question.
It's a good question to have.
It's that panicking feeling.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw, but I did an interview with Marvin last week or the other week, and I interviewed him, and one of the questions to Marvin was, what was one of your pitfalls or your mistakes that you made? Is exactly what Jen said. Not hiring an admin soon enough, right?
Because if you can't do it, like if you see that your business starts to take off and you're afraid to do it, that's saying to the universe, I believe I'm ultimately going to fail. So I can't do this because I'm not sure about that. You have to have some element of faith and taking that leap of faith, right? You'll do it. Go and hire yourself someone. It'd be better to get someone who's a licensed agent, maybe who can't work full time, or maybe talk to Maureen and see if there's someone that is having some difficulty working full time right now that could literally just do your paperwork. That'll take the pressure off, go back to your lead gen then, and go back to your follow-up. Yeah, you'll kill it. Yeah. Yeah.
Although I want to say, like, everything that they presented today worked. Like, my first 6 months, I prospect, like, cold call, door knock, and tried everything. And, like, it takes 3 months after you typically prospect the results, but it works.
Yeah, and just remember, the way we look at it is the action you take today shows up in your business in 90 days. So what you're doing today, your lead gen today, will show up in business in 90 days. So it's really simple. If you're out there lead generating every single day in some way, shape, or form, even do an hour, do 2 hours. I'd like to see you do 5. The way I look at it is, this is a full-time job, right? So thinking you're going to get into real estate and work less hours, I could laugh so hard, and fall on the floor laughing even more, right? The reality is, it is an 18-hour day business, 7 days a week for your first probably 5 years. And Marvin told me that, and I'm at year 4 right now, and I can tell you, for me, even trying to take a day off is really challenging, right? So count on 5 years, count on work your ass off. You're an entrepreneur. That's what you have to do. So if you don't have showings to do in the afternoon, and you don't have follow-up to do, and you're not going to stage a property or clean it or do whatever, you should be out there lead generating 5 hours a day, 8, 10, 12, right? Just look at it like making friends. Yeah, me too.
Every day.
Yeah.
Just one thing to add to Gary, what he's saying about the time blocking, and it's actually pretty cool with the name it.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll do that. I don't like prospecting, I don't like that word, so I'll just call it something different, right? And I'll write that down. But one thing to look, Michelle, with your time blocking. So let's say you have a prospecting for that hour. We'll just use that as an example. Let's say for the 30 minutes, right? You got really good intensity, you're killing it, and then that last 30 minutes, right? You're like, oh, I just really slacked off. If you don't have that, you're not following up that same intensity. Maybe you gotta, like what Marvin does sometimes, track what you do in the day to see what you did every 15 minutes, and the reason why he does that. So you can see when throughout the day you're kind of at your, we don't want to call it your low, but you're not really performing at your peak. And what can you do in those intervals to maybe get yourself back at that peak state? So maybe you need to take smaller intervals where you're taking smaller breaks. You can get back and you can be efficient for 45 minutes rather than being inefficient for 30 minutes. Right? And you'll realize that when you can be efficient like that, you'll be way more productive. Right? Like even I struggled with that last night.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I just needed an hour to just really just relax.
Yeah.
And when I relaxed after that, I killed it. Right? Like 3 hours, I did what I would normally do in 6.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and I think Marvin does a great training on that. So if he does the training on time blocking, you should all be there.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. And you have to remember too, Marvin is in a situation now where he generally does not do real estate past 5 o'clock, and he doesn't work weekends. He goes to his cottage in Muskoka. Okay, so he's years in, but it can be set up that way eventually. You just have to remember you're an entrepreneur, and with an entrepreneur, your business has a chance of failing. It's a really high percentage chance. I don't know what it is, but in the first 5 years, that's where you will fail if you don't put that time and energy in, and believe that you're going to succeed. So that wraps up
Thank you.
our training for today.
Thank you for being here. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, everybody. If you have any questions,